The rain fell hard on Seoul streets that Tuesday evening. Yuna checked her watch for the third time as she walked toward the Galactic Embassy. She was early, as always. The tall building rose above the city like a glass tower, full of lights from 100 different worlds. Inside her bag, Yuna carried everything she thought she might need. Research files, her grandmother's old bracelet, a photo of her brother Dayan from last summer. She touched the bag strap and felt her heart beat faster. Tonight would change everything. She knew this, even if no one else did. The embassy guards knew her face. They waved her through without checking her papers. Yuna had visited this building 50 times in the past year, always for legitimate research meetings. Always documented. Always proper. Tonight would look the same to anyone watching the cameras. She took the elevator to the 7th floor. The hallway was empty and quiet. Most embassy workers had gone home for the day. Yuna's footsteps echoed on the polished floor as she walked to conference room 7B. The door was unlocked. As promised, inside, a figure waited in the shadows. Not human. Tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to shift colors in the dim light. Kara stepped forward and smiled. The expression looked almost human, but not quite. "You came," Kara said. Her voice was soft, like music. "I said I would," Yuna replied. She set down her bag and looked at the alien woman who had become more than a research subject over these past months. More than a friend. Something deeper that human words could not fully describe. "Your brother will look for you," Kara warned. "Your friend Hannah will not stop searching." "Are you certain about this choice?" Yuna thought of Doyen. Her older brother had always protected her, even when she did not need protection. He would be angry. He would blame himself. But if she told him the truth, he would try to stop her. Earth's military did not trust the aliens, especially not species unknown to the Galactic Council. "I cannot say goodbye," Yuna whispered. "If I see his face, I will not be able to leave. And I must do this." Kara nodded. She understood. The Valini did not believe in holding back those who needed to grow. "The ship is waiting. We must go now, before the security shift changes." They moved quickly through corridors that Kara knew well. The Valini had been visiting Earth for months, always in secret, always careful. The Galactic Council did not know about them. Neither did Earth's government. Some secrets were too important to share before the right time. In a restricted maintenance area, a small portal shimmered with blue light. Yuna had seen this technology in her research but never understood it fully. Kara took her hand. Her fingers were warm, surprisingly human in their gentleness. "Once we step through, there is no coming back." "Not for a long time," Kara said. "Are you ready?" Yuna looked back one last time. Somewhere in this city, Doyun was probably finishing his shift at the defense base. Hana was likely working late in the lab, analyzing the data they had collected last week. Her life was here. Everything familiar. Everything safe. But something larger was calling to her. A chance to learn truths that Earth was not ready to know. A chance to become something more than what she was. "I am ready," Yuna said. They stepped through the portal together. The world dissolved into light. 3 hours later, Doyen received a call from Embassy Security. His sister had entered the building at 6:47 p.m. Camera footage showed her walking to the 7th floor. Then nothing. She had vanished. Doyen arrived at the embassy within 20 minutes. He demanded to see every recording, every log, every piece of evidence. The guard showed him the footage. There was his sister, looking calm and determined as she walked down the hallway. She entered room 7B. The camera inside the room showed her sitting down, waiting. Then the footage glitched. When it cleared 10 seconds later, the room was empty. "This is impossible," Doyen said. His hands were shaking. "People do not just disappear. Check the other exits. Check the roof. Check everything. They searched all night. Every floor, every room, every possible escape route. Nothing. Yuna had vanished as completely as if she had never existed. Hana arrived at dawn. Her eyes were red from crying. She and Yuna had been friends since university, partners in research for 5 years. They told each other everything. Or so Hana had thought. She would not leave without telling me, Hana insisted. Something happened to her. Someone took her. But there was no sign of struggle. No evidence of foul play. The embassy's alien staff members were all accounted for. None of them had been in that section of the building during the time Yuna disappeared. Earth's Defense Force launched an official investigation. Diane used every connection he had, called in every favor. The Galactic Council was questioned. They denied any knowledge of Yuna's whereabouts. Ambassador Taman personally reviewed every diplomatic record. Nothing. Weeks passed. Then months. Hana refused to give up. She went through Yuna's research files, her personal computer, every scrap of data she could find. Most of it was ordinary work. Reports on alien biology. Notes on cross-species communication protocols. Standard research for a xenobiologist. But hidden deep in encrypted folders, Hana found something strange. Communication logs with an unknown signature. References to something called the Integration Protocol. And a single phrase repeated in several files. The Valeni are waiting. Hana had never heard of the Valeni. They were not listed in any Galactic Council database. She searched for 6 months before finding a single reference in an ancient alien text. The Valeni were described as watchers, observers who moved between worlds without leaving traces. Species who chose individuals for purposes unknown. She tried to tell Do-Yun what she had found, but he had changed. The months of searching had worn him down. He still wore Yuna's picture in his uniform pocket, but he had stopped talking about finding her. Earth's government had officially closed the case. Missing person, presumed dead. The investigation was over. She is gone, Do-Yun said, his voice flat and tired. I have to accept that. But Hana could not accept it. She continued searching in secret, following every lead, no matter how small. Somewhere out there, her friend was alive. Hana could feel it. And someday, somehow, Yuna would come home. The rain continued to fall on Seoul. In her apartment, Yuna's bed remained made. Her books sat unread on the shelf. Everything waited, frozen in time, for a woman who had walked through a portal and into a new life among the stars. A woman who had left without saying goodbye because some journeys required absolute faith. Some transformations required complete surrender to the unknown dot and in the depths of space. On a world that Earth had never seen, Yuna began to learn what it meant to be human among the Valeni, what it meant to be chosen, what it meant to be loved by a species that saw potential where others saw only weakness. Her real journey was just beginning. 5 years changed everything. 5 years changed everything. Seoul looked different now, with fewer alien visitors walking the streets. The Galactic Embassy still stood tall, but its windows were darker. Trust had died slowly, one disappearance at a time. Do-Yun stood at his office window, watching the city below. He wore a commander's insignia now. Promotions had come quickly for someone who worked as hard as he did. Work helped him forget. Or at least, it helped him pretend to forget. His communicator buzzed. A message from his officer, Minho. Meeting in 10 minutes. Important news. Diane straightened his uniform and headed to the briefing room. Minho was already there, along with several intelligence analysts. They all looked worried. Another one, Minho said without greeting. Dr. Hyunwoo from the Medical Research Center. Disappeared 3 days ago. Same pattern as the others. Diane felt his stomach tighten. Over the past 5 years, 17 people had vanished the same way Yuna had. All experts in their fields. All highly educated. All gone without a trace. The council still claims no knowledge? Diane asked, though he already knew the answer. They are insulted we keep asking, one analyst replied. Ambassador Tamman says we are damaging diplomatic relations with our accusations. Across the city, in a research laboratory, Hana was making her own discoveries. She had taken over Yuna's old position, leading the xenobiology department. But her real work happened after hours. When everyone else had gone home. She had tracked every disappearance, mapped every pattern. All 17 missing people had one thing in common. They were all experts in understanding humans. Biologists who studied human evolution. Psychologists who researched human emotions. Cultural experts who documented human history and art. Someone was collecting human knowledge. But why? Hana shared her research with Soman, an investigative journalist who had been asking the same questions. They met in a small cafe, speaking in low voices while rain drummed against the windows. You are saying aliens are stealing our people to learn about us? Soman asked. She was already taking notes. Not stealing. Recruiting. Selecting. I think they are offering something in return. Something these people wanted enough to leave everything behind, Hana explained. She showed Soman the encrypted files she had found on Yuna's computer. My friend knew she was going. She chose this. But why not tell anyone? Why disappear? Because no one would let them go. Think about it. If Yuna had asked permission to leave Earth and join an unknown alien species, what would have happened? Soman understood immediately. Earth would have refused. They would have stopped her. Exactly. So she left in secret. And I think all the others did the same. Soman published her article 3 days later. The headline read, Are aliens harvesting human expertise? The response was immediate and explosive. Politician Jiwon, a rising star in Earth's government, seized on the story. She had been building support for years on a platform of Earth independence. Now she had the perfect weapon. We are being raided, Jiwon declared in a speech that millions watched. Our best minds are being taken from us. The Galactic Council knows this and does nothing. Worse, they protect whoever is doing this. It is time for Earth to stand alone. It is time to reject alien influence completely. The crowds cheered. Fear had been growing for years, fed by uncertainty and loss. Jiwon gave that fear a target. The Galactic Council responded with threats. Trade sanctions. Travel restrictions. If Earth continued making accusations without evidence, there would be consequences. Earth's President Nari called an emergency session. Hana and Soman were summoned to defend their claims. They presented everything they had found. The patterns. The encrypted files. The references to the Valini. This is speculation, Tamman argued. You have no proof of alien involvement. These people could have left for any number of reasons. Then help us find them, Hana challenged. Use your council connections. Search for the Valini. Prove they do not exist. But Tamman could not. Or would not. The Galactic Council refused to investigate species they claimed did not exist. Tensions grew worse each day. Jiwon pushed for Earth to sever all diplomatic ties with the Council. Defense forces were put on alert. Military ships were moved into defensive positions around Earth. Doyeon watched it all with a heavy heart. He understood the fear driving these decisions. He had lived with that fear for 5 years. But breaking away from the galactic community felt wrong. Yuna had believed in cooperation between species. She had dedicated her life to building bridges. If she were here, what would she say? Late one night, Doyoung visited Yuna's old apartment. He still paid the rent, unable to let go completely. Everything remained exactly as she had left it. Books on the shelf, photos on the wall, her favorite tea still in the kitchen cabinet. He sat on her bed and pulled out the photo he always carried. Yuna smiling at the camera, windblown and happy from a hiking trip they had taken together. His baby sister, the smartest person he had ever known. "Where are you?" he whispered to the empty room. "Why did you leave me?" No answer came. It never did, but across the galaxy, on a world bathed in purple light, Yuna woke from sleep. She had been dreaming of Earth again, of Seoul's rain and crowded streets, of her brother's laugh and Hannah's terrible jokes. Kara entered the room, moving silently as she always did. Over 5 years, Yuna had learned to read Valeni expressions. Right now, Kara looked worried. "You felt it too?" Kara asked. "Earth is angry," Yuna said. She did not know how she knew this. The Valeni had taught her many things, including ways of sensing that humans did not naturally possess. "They are afraid. The time is coming," Kara said softly. "You must return soon, before fear turns to violence." Yuna had known this day would come. The integration protocol was complete. She had learned what she needed to learn. She had become what she needed to become. Not fully Valeni, but no longer entirely human either. Something new. Something necessary. Will they listen? Yuna asked. After all this time, after leaving without explanation, will they trust anything I say? Kara sat beside her, taking her hand. In 5 years, this gesture had become familiar, comforting. This alien woman had become her mother in ways that biology could not define. They will listen because you understand both worlds now. You speak both languages. You can build the bridge that we need. Back on Earth, the government voted. The decision was close, but fear won. Earth would sever diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. All alien embassies would close within 30 days. All treaties would be cancelled. Earth would stand alone. Ji-won smiled as the vote was announced. This was what she had worked toward for years. Earth, independent and pure. No more alien influence. No more disappearances. Tamin watched the vote with sadness. He had spent his entire career building relationships between Earth and the galactic community. Now it was all falling apart. Hannah felt hollow. She had exposed the pattern, but not the truth. Her search for answers had helped push Earth toward isolation. This was not what she wanted. This was not what Yuna would have wanted. Doi stood on the embassy roof, looking at the stars. Somewhere up there, his sister might still be alive. But after tomorrow, it would be even harder to find her. Earth would close its borders. The search would end completely. He was about to leave when every communications device in the city began blaring alerts simultaneously. Emergency broadcasts interrupted all regular programming. Military systems went to high alert. A ship had appeared in orbit. Unknown design. Unknown origin. It was broadcasting a message on all frequencies. Doyen's communicator showed the message. Just one line of text, but it froze him in place. "This is Yuna. I request permission to land. I have someone important for Earth to meet. And I bring a proposal that will change everything." The city fell silent. For 5 years, people had wondered and feared and searched. Now, suddenly, answers were coming. Doyun felt his knees go weak. His sister, alive, returning. But bringing what? Who? In her laboratory, Hana saw the same message and felt tears streaming down her face. She had been right. Yuna had chosen to leave. And now she was choosing to return. In the government building, Ji-won saw the message and felt her carefully built plans begin to crumble. If Yuna returned with explanations, with proof of peaceful contact, everything would change. And in orbit, aboard a ship that gleamed like pearl in the sunlight, Yuna stood beside Kara and looked down at the blue planet she had not seen in 5 years. "I am home," she whispered. "Yes," Kara agreed. "Now we discover if home is ready for what you have become." The landing platform at Seoul Spaceport had never been so crowded. Military personnel formed tight security perimeters. News cameras pointed at the sky. Government officials waited in tense groups. And in the middle of it all stood Doyen, his heart beating so hard he could barely breathe. The ship descended slowly, almost cautiously. It was beautiful in a way that made human technology look crude. The hull seemed to shift colors, reflecting light that should not exist. No visible engines, no obvious weapons. Just smooth curves and an elegance that spoke of a civilization far older than Earth's. President Nari stood beside Diane, along with Taman and several generals. Security Chief Yu Hook had positioned armed units at every exit. They were taking no chances. "If this is a trick," General Seojin muttered, his hand near his weapon. "It is not a trick," Doyen said quietly. "That is my sister's ship." The ship touched down without a sound. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a doorway appeared in the hull, opening like a flower blooming. Light spilled out, and 2 figures emerged. Doyen recognized Yuna immediately, though she had changed. She moved differently, held herself with a confidence she had never possessed before. Her clothes were unfamiliar, made of fabric that seemed alive. But her face was the same. His baby sister. Beside her walked someone else. Taller than any human, with skin that changed from pale blue to soft gold, depending on the angle of the light. She had eyes like deep water, and when she moved, it was like watching poetry. The alien woman placed a gentle hand on Yuna's shoulder. A protective gesture. A familiar gesture. "People of Earth," Yuna said, her voice amplified by technology Doyen could not see. "I am Yuna, daughter of Seoul. I left 5 years ago without saying goodbye. I know this caused pain. I know my brother Doyen has searched for me. I know my friend Hannah has refused to give up hope. I'm sorry for that pain. But I am not sorry for leaving." She paused, letting her words sink in. The crowd was absolutely silent. "I left because I was invited to learn something Earth was not ready to know. I left because the Galactic Council has been lying to humanity since first contact. And I left because this woman beside me, Kara of the Velini, offered me something more precious than anything on Earth. She offered me truth." Kara stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice carried the same musical quality Yuna remembered from their first meeting. "I am Kara, and I am Yuna's mother. Not by birth, but by choice. The Velini have been watching humanity for 300 years. We have seen your potential. We have seen your gift. And we have seen how the Galactic Council has worked to keep you small and afraid." "Lies!" Taman shouted. "The Council has welcomed Earth, protected Earth. The Council has controlled Earth," Kara interrupted gently. "They have limited your access to technology. They have restricted where your ships can travel. They have made you dependent on their systems while keeping you ignorant of alternatives. Because they fear you. Fear us?" President Nari asked. "Why would advanced civilizations fear humanity?" Yuna smiled. "Because we feel things they cannot. Because we connect in ways they do not understand. Because human beings have a gift for love that transcends logic, and that gift terrifies species who have forgotten how to trust." Diam could not wait any longer. He broke from the official group and ran to his sister. She met him halfway, and they collided in an embrace that was 5 years overdue. "Why?" Doyen whispered into her hair. "Why did you not tell me?" "Because you would have tried to stop me," Yuna said, pulling back to look at his face. "And I needed to go. I needed to become more than what I was. Can you understand that?" Doyen wanted to be angry. He had earned the right to anger after 5 years of grief and searching. But looking at his sister now, seeing the peace in her eyes, the certainty in her posture, he could only feel relief. "You are alive," he said. "That is enough." Hannah arrived next, pushing through the security lines with the determination of someone who had waited too long for this moment. She grabbed Yuna in a hug that nearly knocked them both over. "You better have a very good explanation," Hannah said, laughing and crying at the same time. "I do," Yuna promised. "I have so much to tell you." But the reunion was interrupted by Hyuk, the security chief. "This is very touching, but we need answers. You disappeared from a secure facility. You have been gone for 5 years. And you return with an unknown alien making serious accusations against the Galactic Council. We need to verify everything." "Of course," Yuna agreed. "I expected nothing less. That is why I brought proof." Over the next hours, Yuna and Kara were taken to a secure facility. Medical scans confirmed Yuna was healthy, unharmed, and entirely herself. Xenopsychologist Yoonji conducted extensive interviews, searching for signs of mental manipulation or coercion. "Her psychological profile has changed," Yoonji reported to President Nari, "but in positive ways. She shows increased emotional stability, enhanced cognitive function, and no signs of trauma. Whatever she experienced with the Valeni, it did not harm her. If anything, it helped her grow." In the interview room, Yuna sat across from Yoonji and explained her 5 years away. "The Valeni live differently than we do. They form family groups based on choice, not biology. When Kara invited me to join her family, it meant undergoing the integration protocol. I had to learn their language, their customs, their way of seeing the universe. And in return, I taught them about humanity. Why you?" Yoonji asked. "Why were you chosen?" "Because of my research. I had been studying cross-species communication, trying to understand how different species connect emotionally. The Valeni saw my work and recognized something. They saw that I understood connection was more than just exchanging information. It was about building genuine relationships." "And the other 17 people who disappeared? Were they also with the Valeni?" "Some were. Others joined different species in the Celestial Collective. That is what we call the Alliance of Civilizations working outside the Galactic Council's control. Each person who left Earth was invited, chose to go, and underwent similar integration processes with species that matched their interests and skills." Eunji made notes, her expression neutral. "The Galactic Council would call this recruitment without consent." "The Council calls anything they cannot control a threat," Yuna replied. "That is exactly the problem." Meanwhile, in another room, Kara was being questioned by military intelligence. She answered every question with patience and clarity. "The Valeni do not seek to conquer Earth," she explained. "We seek partnership. We have seen too many species destroyed by the Council's method of integration. They take young civilizations, make them dependent, and keep them weak. We offer a different path. And what do you want in return?" General Sejun demanded. "Nothing except what you freely choose to give. Your friendship, your perspective, your incredible capacity for emotional connection. You humans possess something rare in the galaxy. Most species evolve toward logic, efficiency, and control. But humanity evolved toward connection, empathy, and love. This makes you valuable beyond measure." Late that night, after hours of interviews and examinations, Yuna was finally allowed to see Doyun and Hana privately. They met in a small conference room, away from cameras and officials. Doyun looked exhausted. "I do not know what to think. Part of me wants to keep you here, make sure you never disappear again. But I can see you have changed. You belong to something larger now." "I will always be your sister," Yuna said. "That has not changed. But yes, I also belong to Kara's family now. I have 2 homes, 2 families. Is that so hard to understand? Hannah had been quiet, studying her friend. You are happy, she said finally. In all the years I knew you before, I never saw you this content. Whatever the Valini gave you, it was what you needed. Yes, Yuna admitted. And now I want to give Earth the same opportunity. That is why I came back. Kara and I have a proposal for humanity. A chance to join the Celestial Collective. A chance to escape the Council's control and become true partners in the galactic community. What kind of proposal? Doyen asked. Yuna smiled. One that will change everything. But first, we need to convince your government to listen. Think they will give us a chance? Hannah laughed. After the entrance you made? The whole planet is watching. They have to listen. Then tomorrow we present our case, Yuna said. Tomorrow we find out if Earth is ready to take the next step in human evolution. Outside the facility, news of Yuna's return had spread across the planet. People gathered in streets and homes, watching broadcasts, debating what it all meant. Some, like G1, saw danger in these revelations. Others saw hope and aboard the Valini ship still sitting on the landing platform. Other members of Kara's family waited. They had come to witness this moment. The moment when humanity would choose between fear and possibility. Between isolation and connection. The choice would not be easy. But then again, nothing worth having ever was. The United Earth Council chamber was built to impress. High ceilings, marble floors, seats arranged in concentric circles around a central platform. Today, every seat was filled. Representatives from every nation watched as Yuna and Kara prepared to present their proposal. President Nari sat in the highest chair, flanked by advisors. Ji-won was there, her expression skeptical and cold. General Seo-jun kept his hand near his weapon. But young council member Kyung leaned forward with obvious interest, eager to hear what came next. Do-yun stood against the back wall with Hana, both of them there as witnesses rather than officials. They had been asked to attend in case questions arose about Yuna's disappearance. This is historic, Hana whispered. Whatever happens today will define Earth's future. I know, Do-yun replied. I just hope my sister knows what she is doing. Yuna stepped onto the central platform. She wore traditional Korean clothes, modified with Valini materials. A deliberate choice. She was showing both worlds in one person. Honored representatives, she began. 5 years ago, I left Earth. I did this without permission, without explanation, without saying goodbye to the people I loved. This was wrong, and I apologize. But I would make the same choice again, because what I learned in those 5 years has given me the knowledge to help humanity reach its true potential. She activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air above the platform. Star systems. Alien worlds. Species Earth had never seen. This is the Celestial Collective, an alliance of 47 species who have chosen to develop outside the Galactic Council's influence. They represent civilizations older than human recorded history, and they want to invite humanity to join them. Murmurs filled the chamber. Taemin stood up, his face red with anger. This is exactly what the Council warned us about. Rogue elements trying to divide us from legitimate galactic society. Legitimate? Kara's voice cut through the noise. She had not moved from her position beside Yuna, but her presence commanded attention. Ambassador Taemin, please tell this assembly about the Technology Restriction Accords. The agreements that prevent Earth from accessing faster-than-light communication systems. The regulations that limit human expansion to only Council-approved star systems. Taemin's mouth opened and closed. He said nothing. The Council has been controlling Earth's development since first contact, Kara continued. They allow you just enough technology to be useful, but keep you dependent on their systems. They permit you to settle only worlds they designate, preventing true human expansion. They restrict your access to advanced knowledge, claiming you are not ready. But the truth is different. They fear what you might become if given real freedom. Why would they fear us? President Nari asked. We are one small planet. They represent thousands of worlds. Yuna took over the explanation. Because humanity has something most galactic species have lost over millions of years of evolution. We have the ability to connect emotionally across vast differences. We form bonds of friendship and love with those who are nothing like us. We take strangers into our families and make them our own. She gestured to Kara. This woman is my mother now. Not because of biology, but because we chose each other. In 5 years, I have lived among the Valini. I have learned their ways, and they have learned mine. We have become family in the deepest sense of that word. Most galactic species consider this impossible. They cannot understand how we humans can love so freely, so deeply, so completely. The holographic display changed, showing Yuna's memories through Valani technology. The council members watched as Yuna's 5-year journey unfolded before them. The fear of leaving Earth, the wonder of alien worlds, the gradual acceptance into Kara's family, the profound moment when Yuna realized she was not losing her humanity but expanding it. Diane watched his sister's memories and felt tears on his face. He saw the loneliness she had endured in those early months, the time she almost gave up and tried to return home. But he also saw the joy when she finally understood what the Valini were offering. Not replacement of her human identity, but enrichment of it. When the memories ended, the chamber was silent. This is the integration protocol, Yuna explained. What I experienced is what the collective offers to all who wish to join. You send representatives to live among other species. You learn their cultures, teach them yours, and build genuine relationships. Over time, you become family with them. And through those family bonds, humanity will gain access to knowledge and opportunities the Council has always denied us. And the price? Ji-Wan's voice was sharp. What does this collective want in return? Only what we freely give, Kara answered. Your friendship, your perspective, your unique human ability to connect and empathize. The collective needs what humanity offers. Many of our member species have become too logical, too efficient. They have forgotten how to feel deeply. Humans can teach us to remember. You want to use us, Ji-Wan accused. You want our emotional labor, our capacity for connection, to serve your purposes. No, Yuna said firmly. This is partnership, not servitude. The Violini gave me as much as I gave them. Kara taught me ways of thinking I never knew existed. She expanded my understanding of what family means. She helped me become more than I was. And in return, I taught her family about human joy, human grief, human love. We enriched each other. President Nari raised her hand for silence. You are asking us to send our people to live among alien species we know nothing about, to trust that they will be treated well, to believe that this integration protocol is safe and beneficial. After centuries of being careful about alien contact, why should we take such a risk? Because I am living proof it works, Yuna replied. Look at me. I am healthy, happy, and whole. I have not lost my humanity. I have enhanced it. The 17 others who left Earth before me are the same. All of us chose this path. All of us were transformed by it. And now all of us want to help Earth understand what we have learned. She paused, then continued with passion in her voice. The Galactic Council treats humanity like children who need protection. The collective treats us like adults capable of making our own choices. Which would you prefer? Kyung stood up. The young council member's voice shook with emotion. I want to volunteer. If this integration protocol is real, if it offers what you claim, then I want to be among the first to try it. Absolutely not, General Siajin snapped. This is too dangerous. We know nothing about these species. We know they sent Yuna home safely, Kyun countered. We know they are offering partnership instead of control. What more do we need to know before we at least consider this opportunity? The debate continued for hours. Some council members supported the proposal. Others rejected it completely. Many sat in the middle, uncertain and afraid. During a recess, Doyen approached Yuna. They stood together in a quiet corridor while the council argued. I understand now, Doyen said, why you could not say goodbye. If you had told me you were leaving to join an alien family, I would have tried to stop you. I would have used every argument, every emotional weapon I had. And you knew that. Yes, Yuna admitted. You have always protected me. But sometimes, protection becomes a cage. I needed to fly free, even if it meant hurting you temporarily. It hurt, Doyen agreed. But seeing you now, seeing what you have become, I cannot regret it. You are more yourself than you have ever been. Will you support the proposal? Yuna asked. Doyen thought about this. His military training told him to be cautious. But his heart, watching his sister's obvious happiness and growth, told him something different. I will support it, he said. Not just because you are my sister, but because I think Earth needs this. We have been playing it safe for too long. Maybe it is time to take a risk on something beautiful. When the council reconvened, President Nari had reached a decision. We will accept the proposal, but with conditions. Participation in the integration protocol must be completely voluntary. Those who join must be allowed to maintain contact with Earth, and they must be free to return home at any time. Agreed, Kara said immediately. We would never force anyone to stay. The integration protocol works only when people choose it freely. Furthermore, Nari continued, we want the other 17 humans who left Earth to return and testify about their experiences. We need to hear from them directly. They are already on their way, Yuna said with a smile. They should arrive within the week. Ji-won stood up, her face twisted with anger. This is a mistake. We are selling ourselves to aliens who will use us and discard us. Mark my words, this will end in disaster. But her voice was drowned out by others speaking in support. The tide had turned. Not everyone agreed, but enough did. Earth would take its chance with the Celestial Collective. That night, Yuna stood with Kara on a balcony overlooking Seoul. The city lights spread below them like fallen stars. You did well today, Kara said. Your people are beginning to understand. Some of them, Yuna replied. Others will never accept this. Ji-won and those like her will fight against it. Change always faces resistance. But it comes anyway, for those brave enough to embrace it. Yuna thought about the volunteers who would soon leave Earth, just as she had done. About the transformations they would undergo. About the families they would join and the knowledge they would gain. I hope I have done the right thing, she whispered. Kara took her hand. You have given the 6 months had passed since Earth accepted the proposal. The changes came faster than anyone expected. The other 17 humans who had undergone the integration protocol returned home, just as Yuna had promised. They came from different species, different worlds, but they all shared the same transformation. They had grown beyond what they were, and every one of them testified that the experience had been worth the sacrifice. Now, at Seoul Spaceport, the first official group of volunteers prepared to depart. 50 people from across Earth, each carefully selected and extensively trained, each ready to step into the unknown. Doyun stood on the observation deck, watching the preparations. He wore civilian clothes now. He had resigned his military commission 3 months ago, to take a new position as Earth's liaison to the Celestial Collective. His job was to ensure volunteers were treated well and to help those who wished to return home. It was work that suited him, better than commanding soldiers ever had. Beside him, Hannah checked her travel documents for the 5th time. She was among the volunteers leaving today. After years of searching for Yuna, she was finally following in her friend's footsteps. Nervous? Diane asked. Terrified, Hannah admitted, but also excited. Kara has agreed to accept me into her family group along with Yuna. I will be learning from the Valini directly. My sister is lucky to have you, Doyan said. Take care of each other out there. Always, Hannah promised. Among the other volunteers was Isiel, a young artist who wanted to learn alien forms of creative expression. And Junho, a physicist hoping to study technologies the Galactic Council had kept hidden from Earth. Each person had their own reasons for going. Each carried their own hopes and fears. President Nari arrived to give a farewell speech. Her words were broadcast across Earth and throughout the collective worlds. Today, 50 brave souls leave our planet to become ambassadors of humanity. They go not as conquerors or servants, but as students and teachers. They will learn from species older than our civilization, and they will teach those species about human creativity, human emotion, and human capacity for love. They carry our hopes with them, and we promise them this: Earth will always be home. You can return whenever you wish. We will be here, waiting and proud. The crowd applauded. Not everyone on Earth supported the integration protocol. G1's political movement still had followers who believed humanity should remain isolated. But they were a minority now. Most people saw the opportunity for what it was, a chance to grow beyond the limits the Galactic Council had imposed. Yuna stood with Kara near the boarding ramp. She would be traveling with the volunteers, helping them adjust to their new lives. She caught Doyan's eye and waved. He waved back, no longer feeling the crushing sadness he had felt 5 years ago. This time, he was not watching his sister disappear into the unknown. He was watching her lead others toward a better future. I will miss you, he called out. I will visit, Yuna called back. And you can always reach me through the communication channels. This is not goodbye. Just see you later. The volunteers boarded their ships. Multiple vessels waited, each decorated in the style of the species that would host the human visitors. The Valeni ship was the largest, elegant, and beautiful. But there were others too. Ships from species that looked like living crystal. Ships from beings of pure energy. Ships from civilizations that existed underwater on their home worlds. Humanity was spreading across the galaxy in a way the Galactic Council had never permitted. Not through conquest or colonization, but through friendship and family. As the ships began to lift off, Doyan felt a presence beside him. Kyung, the young council member who had volunteered first, stood watching with tears on her face. I wanted to go, she said quietly. But President Nari needs me here to help manage the program. Your time will come, Doyan assured her. This is just the first group. There will be many more. And he was right. Applications for the integration protocol had flooded in from across Earth. Teachers wanting to share human culture. Scientists seeking new knowledge. Artists hoping for new inspiration. Even some politicians who saw the value in building genuine relationships with alien species. The Galactic Council watched all of this with growing alarm. Ambassador Taman had filed formal complaints, demanding Earth cease its unauthorized cooperation with unrecognized species. But Earth no longer needed Council permission. The collective had offered direct trade agreements, technology exchanges, and mutual defense pacts. Everything the Council provided, the collective offered without the restrictions. G1 held a rally that same afternoon. Thousands attended, though not as many as she had hoped. "They are stealing our people," she declared. First 17 vanished in secret. Now 50 leave openly. How long before they have taken everyone with talent, everyone with value? We will be left behind, weakened and alone. But her words rang hollow. The volunteers had not been stolen. They had chosen to go. Their families were proud, not grieving. And Earth was gaining far more than it was losing. Across the city, in a small apartment that had once belonged to Yuna, a young woman named Yoonji sat writing a letter. She had been the psychologist who evaluated Yuna upon her return. Now she was preparing her own application for the integration protocol. She wrote, "I have spent my career studying human psychology. But the Valini have shown me that psychology is not just about understanding one species. It is about understanding how different minds can connect despite vast differences. I want to learn this. I want to bring this knowledge back to Earth and help us become better at forming bonds across all boundaries." Her application would be approved within days, on a collective world halfway across the galaxy. Hannah stepped off the Valini ship and looked around in wonder. The sky was purple. 3 moons hung in the afternoon light. Beings of impossible beauty moved through streets made of living crystal. Yuna took her hand. "Welcome home," she said. "This is not home," Hannah replied, still staring. "Not yet," Yuna agreed. "But it will be. Give it time." Kira approached, and with her came other members of her family. They welcomed Hannah with traditional Valini gestures of acceptance. Over the coming months, they would teach her their language, their customs, their way of seeing the universe. And she would teach them about human friendship, human loyalty, and the human ability to love what is different. Back on Earth, Diane returned to his office. Messages waited from volunteers already settling into their new lives. Reports from liaison officers stationed on collective worlds. Applications from new candidates hoping to join the next group. He read them all carefully. This was important work. These people were trusting Earth to protect them, to stay connected to them, to welcome them home if they ever chose to return. He would not fail them as he once felt he had failed Yuna. His communicator chimed. A video call from his sister. He answered immediately. Yuna's face appeared, smiling and windblown. Behind her, alien architecture rose against a purple sky. "How is everyone doing?" Diane asked. "Overwhelmed, excited, scared, happy. All of the above." Junho has already started working with collective scientists on a new propulsion system. Iziel is creating art that combines human and alien aesthetics. Everyone is finding their place. And Hannah? Nervous but determined. Kara adores her. I think they will be very close. Diane felt relief wash over him. Good. I worry about all of you. I know you do. But you do not need to. We are safe here. We are valued. We are loved. When will you visit Earth again? Soon. Maybe in a few months. I want to see how the next group of volunteers is being prepared. And I miss Soul's Rain. They talked for another hour about small things. Family things. The kind of conversation they used to have before Yuno left the first time. But now there was no tension, no unspoken fears. Just love and understanding. After the call ended, Diane looked out his window at the city below. Seoul had changed in the 6 months since the proposal was accepted. Alien visitors walked the streets openly now, not just council representatives, but collective members too. Human-alien partnerships were forming. Friendships that crossed species lines were becoming common. Earth was transforming, not losing its humanity, but expanding it. Learning that family could include beings with 4 arms or scales or the ability to fly. Learning that home was not limited to one planet or one species. 6 months ago, Jiwon had warned this would end in disaster. But she had been wrong. It was ending in hope. Far from Earth, on the original Valini homeworld, Kara stood before the Council of Families. She reported on the Human Integration Protocol participants, on their progress and their challenges. They are remarkable, she told her peers. Every single one of them has the capacity we hoped for. They form bonds quickly, adapt readily, and teach us lessons we did not know we needed to learn. Humanity was the right choice. And the Galactic Council? Another elder asked. How do they respond to our interference? With anger and threats. But they cannot stop this. Humanity has chosen partnership over control. The Council's power over them is broken. Then we have succeeded, the elder said. 47 species in the collective, and now humanity makes 48. The Council's monopoly on galactic civilization is ended. Yes, Kara agreed.